This is episode 3 of the Foley and James podcast, which is a name that will be changed because it's shit. In this episode, we'll be talking about Foley's journey through the USA up until the point where we re-met up and started working at a summer camp. Foley, would you like to tell us where you started, how you got there, and what you did?
In life or just in America? Yeah, so I flew out of Colombia after my few days with Juan and Pablo, which was brilliant. And I landed in Dallas, in Texas. Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. Now, I ended up flying via Fort Lauderdale in Florida, and my aim was actually to get back to Florida. So you might be thinking, well, then why the hell didn't you just fly to Florida? I had a few weeks to kill, and I wanted to see a little bit of Texas. I'd chosen Dallas a long time ago, like in the first few weeks, I guess, of doing the travel. And it just happened that we met someone in, one of the Irish Rover hostels, and she was just like, yeah, don't go to Dallas, there's nothing there. And it turns out she was right. There's the spot where JFK gets shot. There's quite a cool outdoor park, which is actually over a highway, which is really, really cool.
What is that like? Is that like the High Line in New York or something? What do you mean? Like,
I'm not sure what the High Line is, but it's essentially, so there's a kind of a motorway, not a motorway, but a very busy road, like it'll be 3 or 4 lanes wide on each side, running through Dallas. And what they've done is rerouted it underneath, and they've kept the park at street level. And you go to the park, like there's stuff for kids to do. There's, during the summer, there'll be lots of other stuff. There's like ping pong tables, a load of chess tables. They sometimes have concerts there. But it's right bang in the middle of the city, which is quite cool. And there's the Dallas Cowboys AT&T football stadium, which I didn't get to because during the off season, public transport doesn't run out there on a Sunday.
Yeah, isn't that halfway between Fort Worth and Dallas? Is that right?
Sure. I'll take your word for that.
I think it is. I'm not sure though.
Yeah. And yeah, so I just had a couchsurfing again back in the States, which is great. I'm gonna kill myself. I haven't even done any research. I can't remember the people's names that I stayed with for the most part. But I stayed with a girl in Dallas, and it was phenomenal. So my flight was delayed a short while, nothing too major. So when I got there, it was like an apartment block, a nice one. And she had a card stuck to the door. The key was in it, and there's a big note saying, blah, 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 this is the Wi-Fi password, welcome, help yourself to whatever's in the fridge. I shouldn't be too late, probably home before 1 a.m., which I'd landed at like 11 p.m. or something, so it was fine. And I waited up until she got back. We had chatted for a while. Really nice girl. And then slept on it was a couch, but a bed, and it was all pushed together and stuff. It was comfy. Did the job. And then the next morning she dropped me into Dallas, and I walked around seeing all this stuff. And that was Dallas. Essentially, there really wasn't much to see.
But
and then I went on from...
Sorry, you said that you couch surfed there. Like, that was obvious. So she did all that for you. You'd never met her before, right? You'd only had contact on the website. And she just...
Yeah, we sent 4 or 5 messages back and over to each other. And she literally, like, she wasn't even there. She literally opened her home to me. When she was... It'd be something different if she was the one that answered the door, and whatever. But no, she taped her front door key to the front door.
That's amazing. I love
These are the types of people. Yeah, these are the types of people you get on couchsurfing. It is such a good way of meeting people.
Yeah, that's fantastic, man. How did you find couchsurfing in the US compared to South America? I mean, was it easier to find hosts?
So much easier.
It was easier?
Yeah, way easier.
What was the difference? Easier. Just the language barrier? Or?
Language helped, but I think people in the US, I think, know about it more as well. There's just more people on it.
Okay.
For wherever you're going to, and I think I've said it before, I was traveling alone. We tried it as a pair, and it was so much harder. So,
but did the experience differ at all? Like, was it a better experience? Although it was easier to find hosts, would you say one was better than the other, or were they about the same?
They're probably about the same. The language barrier was definitely an issue, but
Sure.
the two I couch surfed with in South America had very good English, so that helped. And I think time wise as well, because I only had one night the second time around in Lima, so like we didn't go into Lima or anything. We just had like dinner out and whatever. And then in the US, I was always going to stay a couple of nights, so we'd have a chance to do some stuff, which was nice.
Gotcha.
So then from Dallas, I went to a place in Louisiana called Shreveport.
Oh yeah, because you're Disney fantasy, right?
Yeah, I'd loved the movie, and it had mentioned Shreveport, and I'd heard of Shreveport from growing up. It was actually mentioned in a play that my mother would have been in, that I'd have like sold tickets or raffle tickets, helped out as an usher, that kind of thing.
Oh really?
I can't remember the name of that play now.
What was the film that you got it from?
The Princess and the Frog.
Nice.
Hell yeah. Yeah, great movie. So stayed in Shreveport, couch surfed again. This time it was a couch, but there was a pillow, there was it was incredibly comfy couch anyway. It was with a guy called Joseph, and such a nice guy. Couldn't say anything nicer about him. He's actually, I think he's in the RAF. Or not the RAF, that's the English one. He's in the American Air Force. A bit of a long commute. He flew across from England to America every day. So he was in the Air Force, but he was living in this house that the Air Force had given him, and he was setting up an entrepreneur type of workshop / other thing in Shreveport, where entrepreneurs could come in, start working in this one like building kind of room, and if they needed to bounce ideas off each other, or they'd use it as a business center for themselves when they were getting started. It was really, really cool. And he's become like very successful doing that down there as well. So Joseph Aurora, I think his name is. So if you're ever in Shreveport or anywhere near Louisiana, have a look him up.
You're just offering nice someone else's couch for free, are you?
No, I said look him up. You still have to sell yourself. Like in Shreveport, Shreveport's a naval town, so there's hence the name port in it, I guess.
Is it? It's not on the Gulf of Mexico though, is it? It is on the coast.
It'd be in Louisiana, so I think so. Yeah.
Really? I thought. It's on the border. I know it's on the border of Texas and Louisiana, but I didn't know. I didn't know where it was. I didn't realize it was on the coast. But it makes sense because of the name, of course. Yeah, I think so. But it's down by the bayou. Oh no, it's not. How the hell is it a port town? Oh, there's the river, maybe. Which one is it? That's not the Mississippi though, right? Because that goes up. No. That goes up through Louisiana, the center of the state, I believe. Yeah, I think. Yeah, so. But so is it a Navy town? Are you sure? No. I do remember seeing. There's a big lake beside it, and there is a river. There's a red river, I do remember seeing plaques. Maybe it was an army base in the years gone by. For the War of Independence and stuff like that. I do remember seeing plaques up around the place, so that might have been it. Right. Makes more sense. Go on then. Let's have your further unofficial alternative fact tour of Shreveport. So Joey, we're actually going out one night to play a game of soccer. We got to this place, and now I didn't have boots with me, or cleats for my North American friends. So I just had runners with me essentially. So we were going playing. Now there's wet grass, whatever, and we got there, and it would have been 15 aside, small goals, and I'm just I'll play. It'll be a bit of fun. And then of course we literally arrive, and I see a load of guys playing rugby, and I'm like, Joe, I'm just gonna be over here playing with these guys. So we ended up playing 9-on-9 touch rugby for about 2 hours. Some Australians, a few local Americans, one English guy. It was so much fun. It must have been an alright kind of standard then, if there were some nationals of countries that actually are known for rugby, because that's not big in the US. It was decent, yeah. They could play rugby. Yeah. It wasn't a case of just not knowing what way to throw the ball and that kind of thing. They could play rugby. It was the local rugby team. So you kind of hope they could play rugby. Sure. No, cool, man. It was brilliant. Rugby's really good like that, You go in and... have you played before?
Yeah, all right, come play, and you become instant friends. Even if you couldn't play, as long as you're trying and you're not an asshole around the place,
Sure.
makes a big difference. So after had the couple of nights in Shreveport, had a night out, a few drinks, played a few games of pool, as you do, and then went to New Orleans. And now I'm trying to remember, I think it was Megabus from Shreveport to New Orleans. We broke down halfway there, and it's like 35 degrees. We're on the side of the road, no real shade, and we're there for about 2.5 to 3 hours at least. It is insane.
That's worse than what we had in South America, I think. Like, our breakdowns that we had weren't that long.
No, definitely not. But like random people, they'd be driving, they'd see that we were broken down, and they'd come back 20 minutes later with like a case of water or some snacks or something, just out of the goodness of their hearts. Yeah. Oh, I'm meant to say, so I attempted to hitchhike from Dallas initially to Shreveport.
Oh, cool. How did that go?
Not well at all. I was just like, I had my bag on, I had a bit of cardboard with the Shreveport written on it, and I was just like kept walking out the main road, like the direction I needed to go. And I set myself right, if I haven't gotten a ride by, I think it was a couple of miles out the road, there was a Greyhound terminal, and I'm just like, right, well, if I haven't gotten a ride by then, that's my last chance to get a bus. So, I kind of walked and just kept hitching all the way out, but nothing came of it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think, so I've actually recently found this YouTube channel called Hitchhike the World, and it's this guy, this Canadian guy, actually. He hitchhiked from Halifax to Argentina, to Ushuaia. And,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Halifax is just down the road from it.
Yeah, I know, that's why I thought I'd bring it up. And he hitchhiked from there to the bottom of the world. And the only part that he had to fly was from Panama City to Colombia, because you can't go across there by land,
Yeah.
But he hitchhiked, and America, or the US rather, was ridiculously difficult because people just don't trust hitchhikers,
No, I've found that, like the trust seems to have gone out of that system, which, hey, it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, it's a shame. Like, I've hitchhiked all over Europe, and we can do a whole other podcast on hitchhiking. It is a shame that it's sort of not a done thing or whatever. There are obviously cases of violent things happening, or there are obviously plenty of horror movies and that sort of stuff that really.
And the thing is, people only hear the bad stories as well. You don't hear about the 40 million good stories that have happened in the last 10 years.
No, that doesn't make news, of course. No. But it's awesome that you tried it, man. That's really cool.
Yeah, give it a go. It just didn't work, unfortunately. But anyways, went from Shreveport to New Orleans. One of my favourite cities on the whole trip. It's everything that you see on TV and more.
Of the whole trip, of everything, the Americas, South America too. You love
of the Americas. It'll be like just city-wise, it'll be top 5.
Brilliant.
So I got there, stayed at a guy called Ian, couchsurfing again. It ended up being on a double mattress in his front room. So same kind of thing. He left. It was because of the delay on the bus. It ended up being about 1 a.m. when I got there, and he just left the door open. He just told me to lock it, and he had to leave early in the morning. So I actually didn't see him until the next evening, 5 o'clock maybe. And he was a freelance cameraman, among a couple of other things. So I went in exploring New Orleans that day, whatever, and I got back. I got a few beers, just to share with him when he got back. Nice thing to do, I thought.
Yeah.
And he appreciated it. But he's like, I got to go to this meeting. Do you want to come? And then we'll go out for a few drinks and some music after. I thought, yeah, sure, why not? It turned out this meeting was for what's called the New Orleans 48. The New Orleans 48 is a music festival in June, I think it is. June or July, where you meet on a Friday evening. This meeting that we went to was a pre kind of thing where you'd meet with actors, writers, sound guy, whatever, and then you'd get your team, and then on the Friday evening, you'd meet up with your team, you'd get a story or a script or something, excuse me, and you'd have 48 hours to create a short movie. Have to show it at 6 o'clock on Sunday evening.
Wow.
It was really really cool concept.
We
But,
went
to
for
this.
that though. Were you there for that weekend or?
Not the recording, unfortunately. No. Unfortunately, it'd be pretty amazing. The winning film actually goes up against films from around the world at a festival called Filmpalooza. And if you win Filmpalooza, or if you get recognized highly enough at Filmpalooza, you get a chance to be shown at the Cannes Film Festival.
Wow, so it's a big deal then.
Yeah, very, very big deal. So I went along and I was just you get his tags and lanyards at the start. He was like, Ian, cameraman, whatever. And I'm just like, Foley, Irishman. Because I knew I wasn't going to put actor on it because I knew I wasn't going to be there for the festival.
Of course,
it was a shame.
yeah.
But I had several people kind of going, oh my God, can you be around? We want your accent for our movie. I was like, I'd love to, but unless you want to pay for me to come back, it ain't happening.
But you got the offers though. So, you can say you've been offered professional work, mate.
I technically am a professional actor, but we'll cover that on another podcast.
Well, and
it doesn't have to be the adult podcast. It's so yeah, New Orleans is amazing. We went out after that, had a few beers, and there's live music everywhere. I mean everywhere. Not just in pubs and bars, on the street. It was so good. The smallest we saw, I think, was a 3-piece, and even they had some trumpets and stuff.
So
it was
it's good. Not standard 3-piece. It's not just guitar, vocalist, and drummer or something.
No, not even. It'd be a vocalist with a tambourine and a trumpet. It could be a guy with those little percussion boxes. I actually don't know what you call them.
Cajon, I think.
They're quite cool. Sure.
I believe.
And someone with a guitar as well or something. It was that. As I said, that was the smallest we saw. We saw a 9-piece, I think it was.
Wow.
Double bass, a couple of there's a trumpet, trombone, a couple of things like that. Yes, phenomenal. Love New Orleans. Such an amazing city. The public transport system is the tram. They're the old-fashioned trams.
That's right.
You go down into the French Quarter and Bourbon Street and all that. And as I said, it's everything you see on TV and more. It really is, and it has more to offer as well than just that. Obviously, it was devastated years ago by Katrina, but you can see kind of some of the remnants of the damage as you go through the movie. But the people are so upbeat about it. They really are, And I went out by the Superdome as well, where the Saints play, which was nice. In case you can't tell, I like the NFL. So that was really cool. And then I wasn't leaving until late the following night from New Orleans, and I went to got a megabus again.
Just before you do move on, what did you said about Katrina? Did you get over to? What's the district of the town, the city called that it was hit the worst? Did you get over to that side and have a?
No, I didn't. I didn't, unfortunately. No, but the weather was insane there as well. It was 20-something degree heat, and then for 10 minutes every 3 or 4 hours, it'd just pour rain. Because you're right in the bayou there, and there's a couple of weather systems clashing, I guess.
It's rain, it's just to explain to the European listeners, this is rain you have never seen before, right? It's so intense and it comes so suddenly, and then it goes away again so suddenly. It'll come in, it'll be blue skies, bright sun, 20-30 degrees outside Celsius, and then all of a sudden it will just dump a load of the most I don't know, it felt like huge water droplets on you. You get soaked to the bone within seconds. Yeah. And then 10 minutes later it's gone and it's back to being beautiful again, except the whole everything's soaking wet now. It's crazy how. And
weird warm rain as well.
Yeah. It's not unpleasant. If it wasn't so much, it wouldn't be unpleasant,
Agreed.
So where did you go after New Orleans?
Yeah, we're not used to warm rain. So I got an overnight bus into, I think we left at midnight or something, and got to Orlando. Now, I was lucky enough in Orlando that I have a couple of friends in and around there, Mary Beth and Bridget, to name two initially. And of course, through Mary Beth, I met up with Mike, who's living in Mary Beth's house. So I stayed on Mary Beth's couch, along with her dog, essentially.
And she's a friend, she's not a couchsurfing host, right? Or...
No, she's just a friend that I've known from working at the summer camp in Boston.
In previous years?
Initially.
Right.
Yeah. So we got on really well. Stayed with her for close to a week, I guess. Again, just going out a few nights and chilling out. Like, there's a pool in their house, which is really good. Their inn is actually beside UCF, which is the University of Central Florida, which is quite nice. Which is where I actually worked for a week at a summer camp, but we'll come back to that. And then, yeah, stayed at Mary Beth for a while, hung out with her and Mike, chilled out for a bit, had a night went to a game, an Orlando City game. They were playing the MLS. So went to a game there, the Citrus Bowl, which was phenomenal, so much fun. It was actually the same day Arsenal played Aston Villa in the FA Cup final, so we were like watching soccer and on the beer from 10 o'clock in the morning. And then this game was in the evening. So we watched the Arsenal game, then we went in, got some beer, went to the Citrus Bowl stadium, and we were tailgating for like 3 hours beforehand.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
I didn't think they tailgated for soccer games, but oh boy, do they. It was brilliant.
Describe that, because I've only ever heard of I've never been to a tailgate.
So where we were, we meet up with a load of people, and you're just drinking and eating. Like, there's barbecue food. There wasn't too much barbecue going on because the weather wasn't phenomenal. It was warm, but it was kind of cloudy. Sun was kind of coming and going. But there was bits of food. There was beer all around the place. You know, you obviously brought your own, but you could throw it at the side, start taking beer from a cooler, and then you just fill up and whatever. Drinking games going on, like flip cup, beer pong. We played cornhole.
That's a great
First
game.
time ever playing it. A lot of fun. Yeah, great game. And then, yeah, you just keep doing that until you go into the game, essentially.
So, like, that's all happening where? In the parking lot? Or what is that?
Yeah, pretty much in the parking lot, like just out in the shadow of the stadium, essentially. Oh my god, I keep using that word. Yeah, so
And is
just
that
in the shadow of the stadium.
Is that with the two teams as well? Like, I mean, supporters from the two teams, are they mixing? Like, because obviously in England and Europe, soccer or football is really tribal.
Oh, yeah,
you
don't
wouldn't
mix.
get the two
Yeah.
teams, the two sets of supporters mixing. Like, it's different in the States, right?
Yeah, there wasn't really as much mixing, but I think that's because of where we were. So we actually, Mike, the guy who I'd met living in Mary Beth's house, he was I think Mary Beth was as well, actually. They're part of the ILF, which is one of the Orlando City's supporters clubs, like hardcore fans.
Right.
Because Orlando City they didn't just buy their way into the MLS, they came up through the ranks and stuff, so they picked up a big fan base, which is great. And yeah, when I watched the game, and if I didn't see it with my own eyes, I'd have never seen Kaká, Brazilian legend, play on the same team as the Irish guy Sean St. Ledger. I'd have never believed that unless I'd seen it. So I did, and I think it finished 2-2 that day. Kaká scored 2 penalties.
Oh,
And then, of course, we went out.
that's almost disappointing. That so you saw Kaká and he scored 2 goals, but they were both penalties.
Yeah, but oh well. So then we went out into Orlando, and it was good. It was a great night, in fairness, from what I can remember of it, which isn't a load. And then, yeah, so I hung around there for a while, and then I went and stayed with my other friend Bridget, who again I'd have known from Boston. So the camp was on a college campus, and Bridget actually worked for the college at the time. So she was living down in Orlando, and yeah, stayed with her for a week. And then went and worked at the UCF camp. Bridget actually was working there as well as a nurse. And then went back to... Where did we go? Back to Mary Beth's, I think, for a couple of days, did I? Can't remember exactly. And then I went back to Bridget's, and then a family friend from home, Father Ger Burns, another Irish religious person in a foreign country, picked me up, and I went down to stay on Cocoa Beach for a week with him.
Where's that?
Which was great. Right in the coast.
Like, so level with Orlando, though. We're still in Central Florida.
It's about an hour away from Orlando.
Okay.
Which is perfect, you know. So his apartment block was right on the sea. Like, I'd just go out the back of it. It had a pool, but I'd go out the back and I'd be on the beach.
Oh, wow, that's brilliant.
It was amazing, yeah. It's amazing. So just chilled down there for a week. There wasn't much to do, not much nightlife. Played golf one of the days. And Yeah, like it's right beside Cape Canaveral.
Oh,
So
cool. The NASA
Jer would
base.
have been. Yeah, Jer was actually parish priest for NASA for quite a while, for a few years. So the really famous guy who did or one of the famous guy who did the countdowns for NASA, Jer actually presided over his funeral. So, yeah.
So this guy was famous for counting from 10 to 0. I don't understand what you mean.
Yes, pretty much.
Brilliant. Did you go over to Cape Canaveral? Like, do they do it? Is there like any sort of visitor centre or anything over there? Or
I don't know if there was. I didn't go searching, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah. So that was it, and then I went back up to Orlando stayed at Bridget for a few days, and then went from there up to Boston via Washington, and that's where my camp restarted.
Did you in Orlando? It sounds like you spent sort of, I don't know, 10-ish days with Bridget. Like, what did you do? You didn't really say what you were doing for that time.
So we had a few days before I worked at the camp, then a few days after, and then a few days when I came back from Cocoa Beach as well. We chilled out. She was in a little place called Mount Dora, which is just outside Orlando. Nice little spot though. So I had lunch with their family a few times, met her sisters and her mom and stuff. Lovely people. And then we went to see a play one night. Can't remember for the life of me what the name of the play was. We went to mini golf one day. We were just doing bits and pieces.
Righto.
Money was still a little bit tight for me because I hadn't gotten any money from the camp yet. So.
And Boston via Washington, was that just a layover? You didn't get to stop there or anything?
Just a layover, yeah. No.
Was that the same case in Fort Lauderdale when you originally flew from Columbia? You didn't get to stop out or anything?
No. Just literally into the airport and back out again.
All right. And was that it? Was that your travelling part of the US up to the camp in Boston?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm trying to think, was there anything else really to include there? No. No, other than the eventful, terrible bus ride, the travel was all okay. The actual flight up to Boston was delayed again an hour or so in Washington because of the weather. But that's about it, really.
Let's just
Florida's very flat is just one thing I need to ridiculously flat.
That's good.
I didn't like it for that reason.
So
I love Florida. I loved the time I spent there.
People from the Netherlands would get on well there. Is that what you're trying to say?
Without a doubt. And yeah, that was it. When I left Washington, just straight to Boston, and that's where we're going to leave it for that one. Nice little short half-hour podcast or so, which is nice. We got a little bit of feedback from the first couple, and it's like, it's a little bit too long, which we understand. We really do. So we're going to try and make them a little bit shorter going forward, and our next podcast is going to be James's stories of his travels from leaving South America to, again, meeting up with me in Boston. I want to thank everyone who listened and or watched, there wasn't much to watch, on YouTube. We hit over 100 views in the first 24 to 36 hours, which is great. We really want to thank you guys so much. The only thing we want to really encourage you guys is obviously to keep listening, but share and interact. Do interact with us, comment, like, subscribe, message either myself or James, whoever you feel more comfortable messaging. Obviously, if you don't know me, message me. It's more fun that way. And so you're probably connected to one of us on one or more platforms, but you can find both of us on Facebook, and we're both on Twitter. James is @tweetbelsey. I'm @OCRCove, and OCRCove is also my handle on Instagram. I'm also on Snapchat, and I think my username on that is Crazy Axel, AXEL. There's a backstory to that from when I was about 13, but we won't go near that. So yeah, guys, please do like, share, comment, interact, and feel free to suggest topics for future podcasts. They're not all going to be travel ones. We just happen to do this great trip together. Excuse me. We just happen to do this great trip together and figure it's a natural starting point for our podcast. but we will branch out into various and insanely ridiculous areas in the future. You know, and we're going to aim to keep them short enough so, you know, you don't have to listen to us ramble on for an hour, because nobody really wants that. So unless James has anything to add to that,
I think we're good, man.
Excellent. All right, guys. Well, we'll catch you on the next one. Keep an eye out for episode 4, and so if you do subscribe to our channel on YouTube, you will get an alert when the next episode goes up. So that'd be awesome if you could do that. And soon enough, when we have a few of them and we have a name sorted, we will actually be up on podcast format, so on iTunes and other apps, I guess. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.